It's been a long time since I've filmed a video, but I'm really excited to share with you today my completed December daily from 2021. So right off the bat, you'll notice that I used the 10x8 size, which probably won't be surprising to those of you who have been around for a little while, because you may already know that I love to play with new sizes and formats and things like that. So I really, really enjoyed working in this size. It was super fun for just to have like this big space for December daily. It barely fits into one album, which you'll see, but I think I did okay this year. So as I said, I did go with the gray 10x8 with the Night Before Christmas quote on the front, which is so pretty, and the gold foil stars. And then on my spine here, I've got a label that I made a template for to use for all my albums. And then I have this cool 2021 acrylic, gold glitter acrylic piece. So I'll talk a little bit more about this as we go through my album, but Allie had in her star mini kit this year, there was a outline gold glitter acrylic star that had a little tag attached to it. And I got really inspired by that. My husband got me a Glowforge for my birthday earlier in 2020, last year. It's now 2022. Still adjusting to that. Last year for my birthday. And so I asked him if he could cut some of those for my friends and I. And so this was the inside piece, right? The sort of positive space, I guess, or the negative space, what came out of the outline. And he engraved the year on there, and I just filled it in with some black acrylic paint to add to the spine, which is so pretty and looks super fun. All right, so let's see if I can get this all in screen. Looks pretty good from what I can see. Okay, so on the inside cover, I just did a whole bunch of decorating with lots of pieces from my stash. This Hello Christmas, I think, is from Felicity Jane from years ago. So it's this tag. The gold, big gold outline star is from Ellie Studio. This is an Ellie Edwards tag. These are the gold puffy numbers from this year's December daily kit. And then one of the word phrase strips from a few years ago. And then I'm opening up with the vellum sheets. I worked mostly from Allie's December daily releases from this year, and I'll point out where things are different. But just remember, the true spirit of Christmas lies in your heart. So I've got that in here. I saw someone had recommended to me that they saw Heidi Swapp do this with some vellum inserts in a binder where you sort of tape, just using like regular Scotch tape, satin tape, along the edge here to make the holes a little bit sturdier. So I did that on the front and back. So hopefully this will stay nice in my album. As I always do, I opened up here with a family photo. We were lucky enough to do some traveling in November. We did a cross-country road trip. This is our third cross-country road trip, I believe. And we traveled for 20 days, which was amazing and wonderful. And one of the places that we went was Death Valley on November 13th. And so I thought that would be a really fun, cool way to open my December album, was with a photo of us in the desert. Because we're likely never going to have that experience again. So just a little bit here. I took one of the 10x8 pockets or pages and used my fuse tool to put in this piece of transparency, which is just a little bit bigger than 3x8. I think it's probably 4x8 because this is a 6x8 photo. So I think I closed that off at 4x8 and did some stitching with the plastic hearts, which were one of my favorite embellishments from this year's release. And then on the back, I've got more of those hearts, and then I've stamped out sort of a intention, reason why. Some years I do a little bit different things. So this year was just embrace each bright and glittering moment and let your heart be light, as a reminder and intention for how I wanted to move through December and move through the holiday season. This is a postcard that my friend Sarah made, so I decided to use it. So my December Daily album starts back at the beginning of November, when my crafty friends and I got a chance to finally be together in person. Many of us meeting in person for the very first time. We've been talking on Zoom and crafting together for the last 2 years, and finally got to be together. We rented a house on the Oregon coast together, which was sort of the catalyst for my family's road trip. And so nice full page photo of all of us together, which this story has my heart, using that big cardstock phrase from the main kit this year, just completely summed this up accurately, right? This is kind of what it's all about. So on the back here, I did a little bit of cut file and used at our party. We had someone who had brought their silhouette, and so they had a foil quill. So I've got the December Daily Prep Party here. So the prep party happened while we were in Oregon together. So we crafted together all day and worked on our albums and started setting up and working on projects. And that was so fun. We had a big we had a big fancy brunch that day, and wore our Christmas jammies and just had a really good time. My husband stayed in a house down the road from us, and he came over and cooked us a delicious dinner. So we really didn't have to think about much other than December Daily and crafting. So here are some photos and pieces from that. Yeah, this is just a little template that I made using one of the backgrounds from one of the cards. Same thing here. I made those just clipping digitally, right, and then printed them out. Yeah, I'm just really happy to have this story as part of my story, I guess, and to have it documented in my album here. All right, so then this spread is usually about where I start my album. So this is going into the weekend of Thanksgiving, which is usually when we start doing our holiday things. We usually go down to the beach for their light festival. And so this is about where I start. So this side over here, I've got a flip up here that's using one of those journaling cards, the 4x6 journaling cards, talking all about how we came home from our trip on November 16, 17, something like that. And this house was still decorated for Halloween because we left the weekend of Halloween. We left 2 days before Halloween. So the house was still completely decorated for Halloween, and I was definitely not in Halloween space anymore. So I couldn't wait to swap over to Christmas. So this is all about all the things that I had done by December 22nd. So I stamped out using, these are Carrie Bradford stamps here. This was the 3x8 or 4x8 insert card that had the 1 through 10 numbers on there. And then I gold foiled some check marks to indicate that it was done. This came from one of the digital releases that Allie had that was specifically had 4x4 cards in it for this size album. On the back, then we go into sort of Thanksgiving weekend. So this is the 26th and 27th. We went to the lights at the beach with both sides of our family, actually. So my in-laws came down one night and we went to the light show, the light display with them. And then my whole family came down. We celebrated Thanksgiving at the beach together. And part of that was going to the light display again. So I went twice. My husband only went once, but this was just so special. We got to have such a great time with my whole family at the beach together, and just it was wonderful. And a great time, coming from our trip where we'd been gone for so long. It was nice to hang out with everybody and catch up. So now we're officially into December. So that stuff was all pre-December stuff. One More Sleep. So this is just using a page from some of the pattern paper that came in the kit, the main kit. This is a journaling card from Allie from a couple of years ago, just talking about the anticipation of it's December 1st. My journaling is actually November 30th, but tomorrow is December 1st, and sort of how are we moving into that and how is that possible already? I got the sticker advent calendar this year, which I absolutely loved. It was my favorite thing. I opened a few of them sort of before December because I wasn't sure how I was going to use them in my album. And then I ended up just I opened like the first 3 or 4 days sort of prior to December, and then I decided, no, I wanted to open one every day from that point on. So starting on day 5, I opened the day of. So here I'm using one of those envelopes to hold my journaling. This page is all about our Advent calendars. So last year we started the tradition of not only getting ourselves an Advent calendar, but buying an Advent calendar for all of our nieces and nephews. And so I've got a picture of them. I ask our siblings to send me photos, particularly on the first day of them opening their Advent piece and the excitement that comes with that. And then inside I've got some additional photos, and then I've stamped out their ages and then which Advent calendar they had along with each of their names. And that's usually, these are using the journaling cards that came in the main kit that had that white space there. So I just measured out what this space was and then printed to do this flip up. And then I cut a slit at the top here where I have it connected so that it does the flip. Day 3 was all about my husband my mother-in-law ended up being sick, so she couldn't go to the Polar Express with my sister-in-law's family. And so my husband got to go. So he and our nephew Finn went, and our nephew Benji, he's just a baby though. So I asked my husband to write a little bit about the experience, and I asked him to take pictures while he was there, and he definitely understood the assignment and did a good job. I love the little heart in the window, and this is a blurry photo, but I don't really care at all because it really just goes along with the story and sort of emphasizes, it's perfect the way that it is. This is a 9x12 page protector here that I cut down. This is one that has I think it's a 9x12. Yeah, I think it had another like 4x6 and 3x4 down here. And I just cut that off to use this, and that worked great in here. So then on the back, some of our crafty friends, we had an ugly sweater Christmas crafting party, so on Zoom. So here are all of our faces on Zoom. I used Jenny's trick with the digital grid paper. I actually think I made my own grid because I wanted the piece faces to be a little bit bigger. So I did this all myself and then just made a template for it so I could include all of our faces. And then some more photos over here. My friend Sarah made these great felt sweaters for us as a treat for this party. And using that big red felt 4. This was, I think, inspired by Amanda Zampelli's day 1 in her December Daily and the project that she did for the December Daily prep party. Our friend Darius has been living with us, and it was really special to have him here throughout the month of December. And one of the things I do every year is a sort of interview tag. And so this year we did front and back. So favorite thing about December, favorite Christmas movie, favorite Christmas song, as if you can pick just one, favorite holiday treat, favorite holiday activity, and then on the back, a little this or that. And I printed these off on the computer and then did some stamping and embellishing. But I did one for each of the 3 of us to include here. On the back is just a little story. This is kind of a bonus filler story, just about not sleeping and being able to be up for sunrise because I woke up at 3 in the morning. So a little vellum pocket there with a little tag for that. Here's a little insert for day 6, just about currently. So this was using one of the digital tags here that I printed out and then stamped out the different ing words and printed my journaling for that. One of the new things I decided to do this year was a day in the life during December Daily. I've never really done that before. And so I used the library card pocket things to include my journaling and to house my photos for each. And I just did morning, afternoon, evening. I didn't do usually when I do day in the life, I do it sort of hourly or a lot more detailed, but I didn't want this to be a huge thing. So then I used the vellum trees. I ran them through my Xyron, so the adhesive is all on the back, and then used them as stickers here. So each one here includes the journaling, handwritten on the little card. And then I've used a little, when I was going back and forth and working in my album, these cards just kept flip-flopping all over the place. So I used a little Velcro dot down in the corner just to hold in place all of the, each of the fold outs. And then I put the time on at least one photo in the collection, in the stack there. And those Velcro dots make a huge difference. And then the tabs here are from the, these are tabs from the sticker advent calendar, and then I just stamped them on and stuck them on. Okay, and again, using paper from the main kit and then a little bit of embellishment with the glitter paper there. Here we have day 7. This is day 7. I just realized this doesn't have a number on it. Oh no, this is day 7. Oh, this is all day 8 together. So I loved all the grids. There were so many grids and so many good grids. So I decided to make like a crazy grid using a bunch of different embellishments from the kits, from the sticker advent calendar. This is a tiny little tree that my friend Donna crocheted for me while we were in Oregon together. So I wanted that included in here, and just filled the spaces here with the grid. And then over here, this story is all about decking the halls and sort of, we've got a lot of home automation stuff because my husband's super interested and into that. And it's all connected to our Amazon Echo. And so this is our command, and I'm not going to say it now, but this is our command, and everything comes on. All of our tree comes on, our lights in the windows, our lights above the counter, the garland we have on the dresser in our kitchen, like everything just comes on. It's like a magical wonderland. And so I just did some journaling about that on one of the 4x6 cards and have it tucked in here at the top. Day 9 was about a couple of rough days that we had, just mentally, emotionally, some loss and things like that. So I used the Difficult December cardstock, and I'm so glad that Ally and some other companies include things about things that are not so merry or difficult or challenging or hard, because I really needed them. I need them every year, and this year I felt like I needed even more, and because things just got really complex throughout the month. So I've got a little vellum overlay here. This felt 9 is from, I believe, last year's December daily. And then I've got a photo from one of our walks there, and then my journaling paired with photos of us on our walk. And then on the back, a little tribute to my friend Heidi, lost her dog, Snowflake, on the 9th. And that was just a really sad day for our whole friend group, and trying to support her and send her love from all over. And so I just wanted to include a bit about that. Day 10, I had a lot of fun when we were at our crafty retreat playing with jelly plates. I made these crazy papers and had so much fun, and then I cut them up into leaves and made this cool wreath. These are old December daily products here, and then used that to house day 10 story, which was what is the same and what is different. I did this last year with like it being a really COVID Christmas, and really enjoyed that. So this year I wanted to talk about what's still the same as last year and what's still different, and what was totally different this year that we didn't have to encounter last year. So just kind of list journaling there. Here I've made this fun three panel page. So this is a card from the Transparency and Cards set, a 3x8-ish photo, and then some pattern paper that I cut down with some embellishments, stamped out the title here. So last year we had a Zoom gingerbread party with my family. This year we got to do it in person, which is amazing. This is our house that we built. And so it's 3 pages of photos and words about the day and just how much fun it was decorating with my nieces and nephew and my siblings. And then day 12, this is another jelly print paper that I made that I really liked, that poinsettia page. But initially I didn't buy that pack of paper, and I didn't have it initially in digital. So I cut my own sort of, it's close-ish, even though it's cool. And I like the added sort of texture and variety. And then I'm not sure if you can see it and the camera's picking it up, but I did some white embossing on the white paper. That's just some like evergreen, like pine needle stuff. And so just talking about a little date weekend that we had, and the journaling there for that. This was another foundation page that I made. This was a foundation page that I made. This was another one that was just so fun to make a sort of snow globe. So it's like 2 layers. There's a layer of acetate plastic sheeting. Then there's a layer of glitter paper that has all my embellishments on it. And then it spins open to have this little stitched pocket made out of cork, which is so fun, like this pretty cork paper. Just talking a little bit about how we took Ruby shopping for her gifts at the pet store. And then on the back, a full page photo of Ruby and her Rudolph as a filler. Here talking about day 14, puzzles and games, things that we'd been doing around the house. We always build a puzzle in December. This one was ornaments, and we had Darius here to help us with that. It went really quickly. And then we started a new campaign of Star Wars Imperial Assault, which is one of our favorite games to play. And we will be picking that back up here in a couple of days. And again, just using that, the 4-pocket 10x8 page protector that came in the album. Day 15 is all about wrapping gifts, things that I do that are the same every year, things that I do that are different that were different this year. Like we moved away from wrapping paper. We didn't buy any new wrapping paper. We're going to use out what we have, but we did start switching to, we always reuse our gift bags, like the paper gift bags, but we started moving more towards sustainable things like canvas bags, drawstring bags, fabric bags, things like that. And so wrapping went different this year because of that. This is a card that I made using some Tim Holtz Distress ink, to sort of watercolor with, and then gold embossing over using the Holiday Icon stamp this year. Journaling for that page. On day 16, my husband and I got our booster shots. So this is the story of that. My cousin is our pharmacist, and she administered all of our shots. So that was fun. So I wanted to take a picture of her sort of prepping behind us while we waited. Day 17 is a story about our Christmas pajamas. So my family has a tradition of wearing pajamas for our Christmas get-together. And this is our 4th year with matching jammies. Every year I buy new pajamas, but my husband is like, these are my Christmas pajamas. These are the ones I have. If you want to buy me more, I'm going to have to get rid of these ones. So he's very insistent about having 1 pair of Christmas pajamas. And so a little bit of journaling about that. And I just used my full fuse tool to create, this was a 9x12 page that I cut down to 8-ish inches tall, 8.25, I think, or 8.5. And then used my fuse tool to create the 3x8 pockets. Day 18, using more of that paper from Allie from the main kit, and then the big number 18 on top. And this is a flip up to show, this is our 2nd year doing a holiday Jeep parade through one of our neighborhoods here locally. And it was so much fun. There were over 100 Jeeps that participated this year. So it was a much bigger event than it was last year, which was the first year they did it. So everybody decorates their Jeep. It's lights. This is a photo that I actually took from the local paper was there. So they had photos that they published on the website. And I just saved that and printed that out because it had a photo that I didn't have a viewpoint to take. Since I was in the parade, I didn't get a chance to see it coming by. And then just a little bit of journaling down here. This was one of the templates that Lisa made in the Alley shop. And then on the back, I've got another sort of 3/4 length or 3/4 space photo of watching the Brandi Carlile holiday live stream, which has become part of our holiday tradition. We had hot chocolate, and then the tags are just some additional like screenshots of the concert, journaling about it, and then the set list. And those are all some of those are from the tag digitals, and I just printed those out. Day 20 is about our Christmas card. So here I've saved an envelope. My friend Heidi sent us these beautiful, beautiful envelopes for her Christmas cards. And then I've got, I saved stamps and things from everybody else. And so there's our Christmas card this year featuring adventures from our trip. And then here this is a Paper Person digital that I printed all about our Christmas card. So I printed it out and then just did the handwriting on here. Added a fun little like wax seal there. Day 21 was winter solstice. I always like to spend some time outside during the winter solstice and thinking, reflecting about winter and the year and things like that. So this is my journaling printed out on that pretty watercolor paper, which is one of my favorite papers from the like add-on paper pack this year. And I just trimmed it down to 6x8 so it would fit on the back of that page. And then played around with Amy Gretchen had a tutorial for doing some bokeh. So I've got the little hearts in our lights here in the neighborhood and in our front yard. And then using more of those pieces. I used all but one of these pieces this year. Those were great. And I like that they're very dimensional and pretty, but they're also very flat. Okay, so now we're moving into day 22. And this is all about how we are experiencing music. Music is always a really big part of my life, period, but especially our holidays. And so what I did here is a little fold out. I can't remember if that was from the prep party or what that was from, but that was inspired by someone. And on the front page here, I've got screenshots of albums that were new this year or that were new to us this year that we were loving and enjoying. I filled in the rest of the spaces with hearts, the number for the day, and then a little pocket full of embellishments that I just stitched closed. And then on the inside, one of the biggest things that's been happening in our life this year is that we have been learning to play ukulele together. And that has led to a whole wealth of musical exploration, mostly on the part of my husband. We've got drums, we've got flutes, we've got jingle bells now. We got Darius a drum for Christmas so he can kind of maybe play along with us, hopefully. We've just been having a lot of fun. So nice full-size photo of us playing the ukes together, just printed in black and white. And then I used these red stickers, came from the advent calendar, to put on one of my favorite Christmas lyrics on there. And then I had this Fa La La folder or pocket left over from a previous year. And so I'm using that to hold journaling and a screenshot of our Christmas playlist for this year. And then I just used one of those fabric circles on the front. This was part of the advent calendar. So I just put that on to sort of back that and add a little bit of embellishment. And then, as if the month wasn't hard enough and had some hard moments already, my brother and my sister both got sick with COVID on Christmas Eve, and both tested positive. So all of our Christmas plans with them were canceled for the rest of the year. So here I've got the dates of things that were scheduled, that were supposed to happen. And this was one of the 10x8 templates that Lisa made for the shop. And so I used that. I put in a little bit about what plans we had for each day that were canceled. I made this using the blackout font, one of the blackout fonts that I have, just to make this big canceled thing. And then instead of photos, I added different digital pattern papers from from Allie's Digitals. And I like the way that that turned out. And then just a little bit about, it's a COVID Christmas. This is from In a Creative Bubble. And then used an In a Creative Bubble card. This is from last year to do a little bit of extra journaling. So this isn't a specific day. This is just an additional story. Day 23 was about cooking, baking cookies. And so I used the Moments 4x4 card that was in that digital pack for that. I've got some tucked in journaling here, a little bit more context. Christmas Eve. So we really just hung around. This has got adhesive all over it. We really just hung around and watched movies all day, and then went out took a little drive to go see some Christmas light displays. So I stamped this out and then stitched it with my sewing machine to coordinate with this beautiful fireplace page that Crystal made for, I think, the prep party. So we made these when we were together in Oregon. And so my journaling is typed on this little embracing card, which I resized. And then I've got Santa in my chimney. It's a little tricky to get in here with the foam tape. I might just try to do that later. And then I just paired it with a photo that's pretty dark, but also a little glowy, of us watching Christmas Vacation, which is one of our Christmas Eve traditions. Day 25, oh, the other part, this is Christmas Eve too. I just really liked the peacefulness of this little vignette I have under our television, featuring some of my favorite holiday pieces in our candle, and then just added in these pieces here. Day 25, I'm again using those big red velvet red felt numbers. Love those. This is the star. This is the the outline star that my husband made for me. And I just stamped out my own little tag and attached that with some embroidery floss attached to one of the pieces of vellum. And then full page photo with some journaling there about our Christmas day. Some photos. This is using a template from Shannon Pages. She had some 10x8 templates this year. More journaling here about Christmas Day. So that's all December 25th. And then December 26th, I decided to focus on holiday movies. So I made in Photoshop, I just made this little chart that was every movie we watched. And then I went back with my date stamp to stamp in which date of the month we watched it. And then chose a few of our favorites. This is another template from Shannon Pages just did Google image searches for our favorite movies and put them in here. This was a fun page. So this was, we made these again at our crafty retreat. This is one of my foundation pages. And so it's just a cut file that's all these little flip ups. And I went all out and decorated and stamped on all of them, which was just such a fun project. And then my friend Donna, we had been talking one night about taking Santa photos at home. And I knew that there was this app where you could import Santa, drop Santa into your photos. So I was talking about that. So this is just a flip out tag that I made using some of the Jane alpha dies from Ellie Studio and some pattern paper behind there. So I just journaled about how my friend Donna took that app and made all of these she made us a whole photo album of all of these fun instances of Santa at the store, at a band concert, with her grandchildren, on a plane. They traveled for Christmas, so he's like out the plane window. Just so fun. So I initially intended to use this for my advent calendar, but once we started having this, I was like, no, this has brought a lot of joy. So I needed to bring it in. And then finally he's out there in the palm trees. So cool. Day 28 was about making gifts. We had the Glowforge this year, as I mentioned. So we made a lot of homemade gifts for family and friends. And this is that story. Day 29 is all about new ornaments that we added this year, mostly from our trip out west. And so each one swivels up, it's attached with a star brad, and then swivels up to reveal the journaling underneath. And then that's just that vellum wreath page, which is so pretty. And then on the back, I talked all about the 5Ks that I had done in the month. My friend Heidi and I did one together virtually. We did it on the same day around the same time and sent each other photos and encouragement. That was so fun. So that's a little story about that. Day 30 was about, since we couldn't be together in person, we set up a Zoom meeting to play Mario Kart together. So me and all my siblings, my cousin, and my niece played Mario Kart together on Zoom. And then the flip out here are just, this is one of the digital papers from the kit, and then wood embellishments on top. And then the Enjoy the Season tag for my journaling there. New Year's Eve. So typically I always go to New Year's Eve in my album. I go to the 31st usually. But this year I went all the way into January because we didn't end up having my family's Christmas until January 14th and 15th. So my album goes from the beginning of November through the middle of January, which is kind of crazy, but also kind of cool. So New Year's Eve, we pretty much stayed home. So we've got, just made this, this was a template, one of Allie's 10x8 templates. And I just tweaked some things, made my own edits to it to include 3 photos, and well, 2 photos and a screenshot, and then embellished with some red and gold. This was another of those templates, those layered templates from the digital shop that included all the pictures from our Christmas together. And then I included journaling on one of those 4x6 cards tucked in here. These are acetate. These are from Ellie's Studio. They're Jane Alpha, like plastic letters. Again, using one of those 10x8, to talk about how Christmas was extended even more because my niece was sick on the 14th. So we went to see her the next day when she was feeling a bit better. So some photos from there. Then I've got, I made those tags that I had. This is the, like the plastic envelope that was in this year's kit. I may have wrapped this too tight. There we go. And I printed out those interview tags for everybody in my family, and asked them to fill them out, and then asked them to fill them out for the littles as well. So I've got, and then I stamped everyone's names at the bottom. So I've got all 13 of us represented in here, not including the pups. So that was fun to include that. And then my friend Amy sent us this amazing Adventendo calendar. We are Animal Crossing, we are real life friends, but we also have bonded over lots of Switch time together. So she made us this, and each one, she made it on her silhouette. So it's all drawn with the pen tool, and then it was cut over top. It had numbers over top each day that were also drawn with the pen tool, and you like pulled them off to reveal the picture underneath. So I really wanted to include that because that was such a fun highlight of our month. So that's it. That is 2021 Christmas. My sister pointed out, since we didn't have Christmas until January this year, that we are going to have 2 Christmases in 2022. So that will be a fun story to tell in my December Daily album later this year. But I'm so happy this is done. I really love the 10x8 size, and yeah, it was just so fun to work in such a new size that have a little bit bigger real estate, and a little bit more fun, you know, different new things to play with. So thanks so much for watching. If you are still working on your December Daily album, keep going. You've got this, or put it away until Christmas in July, or until Done by December comes back around later this year, and work on it when you feel inspired, but you can do it. It's always worth it to have it finished. So thanks again for stopping by and taking a look today, and I'll see you soon.